So she shows no signs. You can't check for hemorrhaging. She's in there. She refuses to have a vaginal check to make sure she's not hemorrhaging. They've done an ultrasound and HCG, and it doesn't show that she's been pregnant.
It's born inside her body, and her baby has been removed from her body. And then you show up with a baby.
On October 9th, 2020. At approximately 9:37 a.m., 27-year-old Taylor Parker was pulled over by a Texas state trooper in what began as a routine traffic stop. However, the officer was horrified to find a newborn baby with an inbuilt cord still hanging out. Taylor claimed that she'd just given birth and needed to be taken to the McCurtain Memorial Hospital in Idabel, Oklahoma, less than an hour away. However, when she arrived at the hospital staff immediately knows that something is off and quickly calls the aide about police, but neither the police nor anyone else was prepared for the horror they were about to discover.
All right, so it comes out of her stomach and it's still in the sack. Did you have to pull the sack apart to get the baby out?
Yeah, I had to pull it open and turned her over and started smacking her back.
So, what really happened? And how did Taylor end up with someone else's baby? What happened to the real mother? We'll answer all these and more questions in this shocking case of the woman who cut a baby out of a pregnant mother to murder. Taylor Parker was a mom of 2 from Texas. By 2019, she had been married and divorced twice and lost custody of her 2 children. Weeks after her second divorce, she met and started dating a country boy named Wade Griffin. Very early into their relationship, Taylor confided in Wade that she was pregnant but had unfortunately lost the baby. This sort of brought the 2 of them closer as Taylor leaned on Wade for support. But as the relationship progressed, Wade began learning things about Taylor and who she really was. The family also noticed that Taylor seemed to be more into Wade than he was into her. She wanted things to move fast and would always complain about Wade's lack of affection towards her. However, Wade would later say that their relationship had become an emotional roller coaster. Huge surprise there. In March 2020, Taylor announced on social media that she and Wade were expecting a child. But there was just one major issue about this announcement. One of Wade's relatives, Angela Pat, had gotten close with Taylor, and she would often vent to her about her relationship issues with Wade and her fear that he would leave her. Also, at one point, Taylor had apparently confided in her that she had a prior hysterectomy as a surgery to remove the uterus. So how could she be pregnant without a uterus? Angela told Taylor that before telling Wade she was pregnant, she should take another pregnancy test to really confirm that it was true. But Taylor assured her she was really pregnant and told her that this pregnancy was intended by God. Taylor was really excited about her soon-to-be-born baby. She was showing all of her family and friends her sonogram pictures, her test results, and everything relating to the baby. Our sweet girl is measuring 2 pounds and 2 ounces today. She is definitely handling everything like a champ. Her measurements came back. Good. Heartbeat running slower than normal since they have put Mama on a heart pill. We are scheduled for our full 3D ultrasound on July 30th, and after seeing this sweet face today, I cannot wait. Her face. #GlancyGale. She's tiny but fierce. Wade's mom, Connie, was not convinced that she was pregnant, and it caused a lot of friction between her and her son. Still, she wanted to support her son, and so she attended Wade and Taylor's gender reveal party. During the event, it was announced that the baby would be a girl, and she was given the name Clancy Gale. On July 2nd, Taylor posted about medical appointments for the baby and the way she made it sound as if she was having some sort of pregnancy issue. However, she later replied to a comment saying that everything was sorted and the baby was going to be okay. Around September 15th, Taylor's ex-husband, Tommy, reportedly sent text messages to Wade multiple times telling him about Taylor's previous hysterectomy. He told him that she was using sonograms from her previous pregnancy and warned him that the hospitals in the area were on high alert in case she attempted to steal a baby. Wade then sent Taylor the screenshots of the messages, and she was really mad, saying that Tommy was trying to ruin her life. She insisted she was really pregnant and was about to give birth. Taylor was going through a lot of stress at that time, and she wanted someone that she could talk and confide in. So she reached out to 22-year-old Reagan Hancock. Taylor was an amateur photographer and had photographed Reagan and her husband Homer's wedding a year earlier. Reagan and Homer loved her work, and Reagan even recommended her business on Facebook. Taylor and Reagan had stayed in contact via Facebook, and Reagan was now pregnant with her second baby. Her first daughter, Kinley, was with her ex, but she and Homer were raising her together and were over the moon about the new addition on the way. Reagan had announced on Facebook that her new baby girl, Braxton Sage, would be born around November 10 on September 30th. Taylor went to her doctor's appointment, but she was very upset. She explained that her husband, who was in the military, had died, and her mother had canceled her plans to help her. The clinic staff offered to reschedule her appointment and suggested doing a sonogram to make her feel better. Taylor declined the sonogram, which was unusual because most expectant mothers would be excited to see their babies. But what worried the clinical staff even more was seeing Taylor sitting outside the clinic, watching other pregnant women coming in and out of the hospital about a week later on October 5th. There was still no sign of Taylor's baby, which was a relief to some. On October 8th, Taylor went to her friend Reagan's house. She left for a bit in the morning, but came back with a baby gift and Starbucks. After Taylor left, Reagan posted about their visit on Facebook. "So glad to see you today. Miss you bunches. Also, thank you for the sweet gift and Starbucks." Then in the morning of October 9th, at 7:22, after Taylor had finished getting gas and some food at McDonald's, her friend Reagan received a strange text from a number using a Google app. By 8:30 a.m., Reagan's husband, Homer, started receiving weird text messages from Reagan's phone. These texts said things like she wanted to be happy but couldn't, which worried him because it wasn't like Reagan to say such things. He texted her at 8:33 a.m., expressing his love, but Reagan didn't respond. At 9:34 a.m., a neighbor messaged Homer on Facebook telling him that Reagan's puppy had escaped their house. Homer tried calling Reagan at 9:36 a.m., but she didn't answer. Eventually, he left work to check on Reagan and the dog. Reagan's mom, Jessica Brooks, arrived at Reagan's house to check on her when she entered. She found her 34-week pregnant daughter lying face down in a pool of gore. Jessica called 911 and told the dispatcher that her daughter had been murdered, but she didn't know what had happened. Police quickly arrived at the scene and turned Reagan over, unveiling a gruesome discovery. The baby was missing, and Reagan was in an absolutely shocking condition. She had multiple job wounds and a deep incision around her uterus. What kind of monster would do this to a pregnant woman? What happened to the baby?
Police are investigating after a woman was found dead in her home after her unborn child was removed from her womb Friday morning. Police in New Boston, which is about 24 miles west of Texarkana, say they responded around 10:20 in the morning. The woman was found dead inside the home. The child also did not survive.
At the hospital, Taylor kept insisting that she had given birth, though she completely refused to let the doctors check her.
The nurses said that you weren't wanting to let the doctor check you to make sure you weren't hemorrhaging or anything.
They did an ultrasound.
The hemorrhaging is the bleeding, whether you're passing clots or not passing clots. It's really good to have you checked for that, because I know I was passing massive clots and they were about to start giving me blood. That's why they're wanting to check out, any damage, and check to make sure you're not bleeding inside internally. That's why they're wanting to make sure.
That's okay, that's fine. I didn't know it was a big deal not to want the guy to do that.
And investigators did not waste any time in telling her that they knew she wasn't pregnant, and she had had a hysterectomy.
The DA down in Bowie County, and they've been working on a case down there. And we know that you had a hysterectomy sometime back, and that you claimed to be pregnant for a while, but that you really weren't. So we're trying to figure out where this baby came from. But you didn't give birth this morning.
Spillers still stuck to her story, insisting that the doctor would be able to confirm her pregnancy claim, but the truth would soon come out.
I'm a woman this morning on the side of the road, and her baby has been removed from her body. And then you show up with a baby, and the information is you've had a hysterectomy. There's no way you could have been pregnant. Even though you've been telling people for a while you've been pregnant. There's no way you could have been pregnant. And
I didn't hurt anybody on the side of the road.
well, I'm not saying you did. I'm just saying that there's a woman that had her baby removed from her body. Her body's found on the side of the road. I didn't say you did. I just want to know what happened, where this baby came from.
A few moments later, the doctor conducts a physical examination, and the results confirm everyone's suspicion.
So, it surely doesn't look like a baby came out of there. It doesn't look like she had a baby.
It doesn't?
No.
Okay.
So after a lot of back and forth with the detectives, Taylor eventually cracked and told the truth. Well, at least her version of the truth. She claimed that Reagan had told her to come over that day to use her shower since Taylor's water was supposedly up.
I remember pulling up.
Did she say something to you to make you mad or something? Or what happened?
She grabbed a hold of me and told me that I was a liar.
Did you try to fight back?
We both fought back.
You both fought back?
We both hit each other. And she hit her head on the table.
She hit her head on the table. Okay.
Taylor tried to make it seem like Reagan's death was an accident and that she took the baby out to save her.
When she hit her head, did you think she died? Did you just trying to save the baby?
Yeah. And I really wanted the baby.
When asked if anyone else was at the home during this time, she claimed that it was just her and Reagan. However, this would be a lie, as Reagan's 3-year-old daughter was inside the house when her mother's life was tragically taken away. Detectives would later learn that Taylor had planned to kill and steal Reagan's baby for 8 months, hoping that the baby would fix her and Wade's dying relationship. 3 knives with Reagan's DNA would be found in her purse.
So you take the baby out of her stomach, is that right? Did you have to pull the sack apart to get the baby out?
Yeah, to pull it open, turned her over and started smacking her back.
Reagan's body was riddled with defensive wounds. Lacerations were found on her fingers, hands, and arms as she tried to defend herself and her unborn child. There were over 100 stab wounds, with 39 of them being on her head. She had several skull fractures and was likely struck with both the blunt and clawed end of a hammer. She was cut from hip to hip, and her uterus had been pulled out. Allegedly, some of Reagan's fingernails were found lodged in her placenta as she desperately tried to prevent Taylor from taking away her child. Taylor admitted that she had used a scalpel to commit the deed. Initially, authorities couldn't find it, but later in the autopsy, it was discovered to be lodged deep inside Reagan's neck at Taylor's trial. It was revealed that she had been using her Facebook account to stalk several women, indicating that an attack was actively planned. Reagan just happened to be the unlucky target. The prosecution also provided evidence that hours before the attack, Taylor had researched videos on how to perform premature C-sections. Initially, Taylor tried to claim she was incompetent to stand trial, but this was quickly dismissed. During statements and testimonies, Reagan's mother addressed Taylor and described her as an evil piece of flesh demon. She stated, "My baby was alive, still fighting for her babies, when you tore her open and ripped her baby from her stomach." During closing arguments, the prosecution showed the jury the image of Reagan surrounded by a pool of her own blood. They argued that the only just sentencing for Taylor would be the death penalty, as she was considered a danger to society. The defense argued that Taylor had been let down by the system as well as her loved ones, and that nobody had tried to help her despite knowing that she may have been lying about the pregnancy. This did not convince the jury, however. After only 1 hour of deliberation, The jury reached a guilty verdict. Taylor Parker was sentenced to death and now awaits her fate on death row in the shadowy realm of unthinkable crimes. 2 innocent lives were taken, all in an attempt to salvage her own situation. Reagan Simmons. Hancock's memory lives on not only as a victim, but as a symbol of the need for vigilance and awareness in a world where trust can be cruelly betrayed. The story of Taylor Parker and Reagan Simmons Hancock serves as a haunting reminder that darkness can infiltrate even the closest of bonds and that the pursuit of justice is paramount in the face of unspeakable acts. What do you think about this case? Do you believe that Taylor got the sentence she deserved? Let me know in the comments section, and don't leave without giving this video a thumbs up and subscribing to the channel.